right, so Pinot
Pinot Noir,
and
Tempranillo.
okay, and Lulu.
And Lulu, my grape sampler.
Testing the grapes.
Yeah, she'll tell you when they're sweet enough.
So obviously you haven't harvested this part of it yet.
Right.
Is there, you were telling me inside, it's not necessarily an exact date, it's sort of a compromise push-pull between the acidity and when it needs to be taken off the vine,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So,
It's a push-pull between the farmer and the winemaker.
okay.
Farmer wants them off, the winemaker wants them right.
Okay.
So, and it's a balance between the acidity and the sugars and the pH. So once those come into balance, and it's a little different balance for different wines, different grapes.
How do you test that?
It goes to a lab, our lab, and we can test sugars in the field, but we can't test acids or pH in the field. So we test sugars, and that gives us a good idea as to what's happening. The more sugar, the more alcohol. So if you're a winemaker that doesn't like to make high alcohol wines, you want to get the grapes off with the bricks low. Okay. I say low, 21, 22, as opposed to 26 or 27.
Okay.
Bricks is a measurement of sugar.
Okay, that makes sense. So how old would this whole area be?
These are 7-year-old vines.
7-year-old vines. Okay, are they the oldest ones you have?
Yes.
Okay, great. And this is the south-facing slope, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
And you were telling me earlier that's fairly rare for the Hood River area.
Right. Hood River runs north and south. So most of everything in Hood River is east and west.
So how do you harvest the grapes?
Well, what
Besides,
happens?
I mean, Lulu's got her method.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, these are nets that we put on for birds.
Okay.
And we put those on early, and then we come through here, and the fellows will come here first, and they'll pull these up out of the way.
Okay.
And then once they're out of the way, then the workers come through with buckets, 5-gallon buckets, and they snip them off.
Okay.
And put them in a bucket.
And they're all in clusters like that.
Everything's in clusters.
And is that all of the grapes, or is that just indigenous to Pinot Noir?
All of our grapes.
Okay.
All of the grapes.
Okay.
Some of them are harvested with a machine. Big vineyards that use a machine, but small vineyards are still everybody's harvesting by hand.
So it's all by hand.
Right.
Okay. So that must be a mad rush. When you decide to get these off the vine, you want them off quick as possible, right?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
But we do like to get them off as fast, in a day or 2 days, whatever that takes. There'll be a tractor in a row, and then there'll be a worker on each row, and he just passes the buckets underneath to the tractor. Someone dumps it into the tractor, and they just keep moving up the row.
Okay, and for storage, at least initially, they're in the big white plastic bins,
Exactly.
right? Okay.
Weigh anywhere from 800 to 1,000 pounds of grapes in one of the bins.
So how many pounds do you expect to get this year?
Off of this block here, we'll probably get about 15 tons.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of wine, a lot of grapes.
And we thin it down quite a bit. We thin down to 1 or 2 clusters per shoot, and probably 6 shoots on each side of the vine. So.
Okay. And that's for the health of the grape, right? You want it to have the right amount of exposure and not be overcrowded with other clusters around it. Is that right?
Right, and it ripens faster.
That makes sense.
This year, with the summer like it was, we decided to thin it off a lot so that the less fruit, the sooner it'll ripen. This is what we do in the springtime. This is how it all gets started. This is a Pinot Noir plant, and we just come in here and we take just about everything off. This is called cane pruning.
Cane pruning.
Cane pruning as opposed to spur pruning. If I were spur pruning, I'd come in here and take all of these off like this.
Okay. But you'd leave that big stalk if you were spur pruning.
If you're spur pruning, you'd leave all of that on there, and then
Okay.
each one would come out with a new cane.
Okay.
But for Pinot Noir, it likes to have the new vine. So this all will come out of here.
So you're going all the way down to this vertical piece right here.
That's right. And
Wow.
this is the new one. In the spring, that'll come out, and then that'll lay down on the wire. Excuse me. That'll lay down on the wire. And then all of these, when the leaves fall off, will be our new canes
Okay.
that will come up like this.
Okay. So you do that after the harvest every year. The vertical one comes over, And you cut that one that was horizontal off.
Exactly.
Cool.
So that's your new cane for the new year. Wow. And you do that, the entire vineyard goes
Woo! That must take a while.
We go through and do it in steps. I'll go through it and choose which limbs are going to be laid down. And so I'll cut everything else off and just leave it.
Okay.
And then the guys will come through there and pull all of that stuff out and then tie this one down to the wire.
You do each one of these by hand? Because you're wanting to pick out exactly which one you want.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are you looking for when you're trying to pick that out?
Something that's healthy, something that's not too big or too small. You want it at least the size of a pencil to lay down, and something that just looks vigorous.
Wow. Great. Well, good luck. That's a lot of stuff.
Labor of love.
Yeah. When you come in the morning, you have to make sure you open up the doors and open up the windows because there's not much oxygen in here.
Right. The carbon. This gives off the byproduct of this fermentation is carbon dioxide. Okay. So it actually takes the oxygen out of the place.